Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Heldt. You're watching the Political Vigilante. Like, share, and subscribe. So many of you are aware of this. I'm going to just bring it up so we can all see it real quick.
Bernie Sanders, and this was a perception I had. You would say a policy when you were running against him for the nomination.
Right.
And the next day you go, yeah, well, free college for everyone.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you run for a fifth grade class.
Yeah, right.
I'll give you free everything.
Chocolate milk for
everyone and more recess.
More pizza.
And then it makes it look like you're a stick in the mud.
I know. And then when you say, well, wait a minute, where's the money going to come from? Then what about, are you against free college? I know.
Bernie Sanders, and this was a perception I had. You would say a policy when you were running against him for the nomination. And the next day you go, yeah, well, free college for everyone. It's almost like when you run for a fifth grade class. I'll give you.
I can't. So that, we all know that clip, right? We all saw what happened with that. What that does, basically, is it shows you several things. First of all, those are two people, each worth hundreds of millions of dollars, mocking people that want free college. Those are two people whose kids are going to be able to go to college, no problem. And also what's so insulting about it is Bernie's plan is public universities and colleges are free. You want to send your kid, let's review the history, okay? Education throughout history was only for the children of the aristocracy, right? America, this radical experiment, everybody gets an education, everybody can have upward mobility, everyone gets a voice, everyone gets a vote. That was a radical idea. Because there was the wealthy, the royalty, the aristocracy, and their kids were born into wealth and privilege, and their kids got education and refinement. That's the thing. And a lot of, like England, for example, the upper crust, they were formally educated versus like, hello, mate, like that's my horrible accents, but was a designed class delineation. So education is a right. It was promised to us. And all Bernie is doing is saying free. And it's better for society. This is so arrogant. Oh, Bernie's just like a grade school guy. Fuck you, Howard Stern. What an idiot. Kissing up. When Howard Stern made that $200 million deal with SiriusXM, he became a member of the ruling class. This isn't the Howard Stern from 20, 30 years ago. That's the rebel on radio, breaking barriers. This is him kissing her ass. And here she is still blaming Bernie. You cheated Bernie, Hillary. He endorsed you. He could have said, nope, I'm done with the Democratic Party. I'm running third party. He endorsed you. He stood up at the convention and said, I give my delegates to Hillary. Okay? So let's talk about this a little bit here. And then she's red baiting. In this full interview, she starts red baiting. Let's talk about that a little bit. Okay? This is from the Cold War era. Joseph McCarthy was a senator from Wisconsin. In 1950, he gave a speech in which he claimed that communists were working in the State Department. So when Hillary referred to Tulsi Gabbard, so she's saying that Tulsi Gabbard, a sitting congresswoman and a major in the Army National Guard, is a Russian asset. That's a pretty bold accusation. His accusation was investigated by a Senate committee, but was found to be groundless. Undeterred, McCarthy continued his battle by accusing various public figures of being communists, often with little, if any, evidence. Little, if any, evidence. But what is this all about? Right? Why is she, first of all, she just can't handle the fact that she lost, and she can't be an adult and say, I lost, here's why. It's Russia's fault, it's everybody else's fault. Like it's a psychosis. It's someone that just, and all of her minions, Neera Tanda, John Podesta, you've watched them in interviews where they say, John, These are your interviews. Look, that WikiLeaks is a Russian asset. He never denied those were his emails. He never said that. Because if somebody faked emails of mine, let's say, I would be able to go, no, and here's the evidence. Here's my email servers, read all my actual emails. Those things were doctored. You could debunk that in a heartbeat, and they know that. They're just mad that they got leaked. They just got leaked. So what is all this about? We talk about this. This is more what I really believe this is. We're seeing the end of the ruling class. It's coming to a head. And all this talk of impeachment, right? And Russia-gating. What is the 24-hour cycle? Russia, blah, 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 all that stuff. Russia and impeachment is all a distraction by everybody, by Trump, by the Clintons, for this kind of stuff. Bill Clinton was Jeffrey Epstein's closest celebrity mate and a frequent guest at his New Mexico ranch with wife Hillary, staying at the pedophile's cowboy-themed village, say estate workers. Bill said he never stayed there. He said he was only on his plane a couple of times. We know this. Bill was on, he says 4 times, flight records, right? So Bill Clinton lies 10 times before he wakes up every day. So does Trump. Do you see that both Bill and Trump just lie? What time is it? I'm lying. They just, anything, they just lie. When in doubt, lie. He said he was only on his plane 4 times. August 9th is when the sealed document. So he said that with the arrogance, thinking that the deposition and everything. So when Virginia Roberts settled with Ghislaine Maxwell, right? The documents, part of that settlement agreement was the documents were sealed. Those documents became unsealed August 9th. In there, flight logs showing Bill Clinton was on the plane 26 times. Trump was on it 1 time. Bill Clinton also said, I was never at their property. The staff says otherwise. They stayed there numerous times. So we're talking about, Bernie's giving out free chocolate milk and impeachment is a scam, or it's the right thing to do, or blah, 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 or Russia. We're not talking about this compound. This is the compound where Epstein confided in scientists that he planned to impregnate up to 20 women at the time at the ranch to improve the human race with his genes. I did a video on that. Here's an aerial photo of this creepy ranch. Has this weird thing that he had on his pedophile island. What the hell weird pagan sacrifice thing? Shouldn't this be like tennis courts or like a swimming pool or something? All this creepy stuff. So Hillary can't handle the fact that she lost. She can't own it. And she can't own how corrupt they are. Oh, here's her daughter's wedding. There's Ghislaine Maxwell. Chelsea, Bill, Ghislaine Maxwell. After she had settled out of court with Virginia Roberts, Epstein's girlfriend, right? But they're all trying to they're all guilty. Now the QAnon people try to say that, Trump's this warrior hero who has never, he's rounding up all the pedophiles. I'm going to get into William Barr in a second here. But Trump, okay, is doing the same distracting tactics that the Clintons do. The Clintons have all these business dealings with Russia, right? The Uranium One thing, they said, that was debunked. It has not been debunked. Uranium One put like $100-some million in their foundation. That raises the other bigger question here. What happens if the Clintons aren't in any sort of political power? How are they going to get people to donate to their foundation? That's why Hillary is going so nuts. Because that's how the Clinton Foundation worked, right? He was president, then she became a senator, then she was going to be president. She wasn't in 2008. Okay, sure, she was Secretary of State. She needed a high-ranking spot. And then she was going to be president in 2016, because here's how the Clinton Foundation works. Powerful people and governments donate money, and companies like Uranium One donated money to the Clinton Foundation to get influence. 20 countries donated to the Clinton Foundation. before she became Secretary of State, and then when she was Secretary of State, all 20 of those countries got defense contracts. So if they're not in power, if they're not relevant anymore, if they don't have any more influence, and they've had influence since 1992, significant influence since 1992. So if they don't have any more influence, they have no more power. So that's why they have all these ties to Russia, and they scream Trump, Russia, Russia, Bernie, Jill Stein, Julian Assange, Russia, Russia, Russia. Trump does the same thing. There's all these ties Trump has. He was on his plane in 1997. He said in an interview, and I'm going to go into all of this, in 2002, Epstein's a terrific guy, has great taste in women. He has ties to William Barr. He has ties to Les Wexner. Trump had a fake modeling agency, which, as we know, is where you recruit, right? There was the woman, the 13-year-old, that accused Trump of raping her with Epstein, okay? Pedophile? Pedophile. But listen to this. This is in August, right after Epstein died.
Do you really think the Clintons are involved in Jeffrey Epstein's death? I have no idea. I know he was on his plane 27 times, and he said he was on the plane 4 times. But when they checked the plane log, Bill Clinton, who is a very good friend of Epstein, he was on the plane about 27 or 28 times. So why did he say 4 times? And then the question you have to ask is, did Bill Clinton go to the island? Because Epstein had an island that was not a good place, as I understand it, and I was never there. So you have to ask, did Bill Clinton go to the island? That's the question. If you find that out, you're going to know a lot. Thank you very much, everybody.
See? That's a fair question to ask. We need to ask why. It's a fair question to ask. We need to ask why Bill Clinton did he ever go to Epstein's pedophile island? We know bad things happen there, right? And my DOJ, William Barr, we're going to investigate this. That was August. How long does it take? We haven't heard a peep from the DOJ. We haven't heard a peep. Yeah, the president and the Department of Justice, we're going to investigate. But, and this is the Trump and the QAnon people act like he's somehow some hero.
A NATO reception at Buckingham Palace welcoming leaders like Justin Trudeau. The event hosted by Queen Elizabeth Tuesday, marking the alliance's 70th anniversary. A royal family member not taking part? The Queen's second son, Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, who recently stepped back from his public duties amid allegations he had sex with a 17-year-old girl who was trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. The U.S. financier found dead in a jail cell while being held on sex trafficking charges in August.
He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth, and I know that's me.
In a new interview that aired on BBC Monday night, Virginia Giuffre, now in her 30s, said she was forced to have sex with Prince Andrew. He denies the allegations.
I implore the people in the UK to stand up beside me, to help me fight this fight, to not accept this as being okay. This is not some sordid sex story. This is a story of being trafficked.
In response to the interview, Buckingham Palace said through a spokesperson that it is emphatically denied that the Duke of York had any form of sexual contact or relationship with her, and that any claim to the contrary is false and without foundation.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
Last month, the prince gave an interview himself to the BBC, which was widely billed as a disaster in the British media, in part because he didn't say he regretted his friendship with Epstein, and he cast doubt on the authenticity of a photo from nearly 2 decades ago, which shows him with...
Remember now, that's the interview. Never met her, that's not his hand. He's never been upstairs. Epstein doesn't own a camera. I would never be caught in London without a jacket and a tie. I don't know where the bar is at this nightclub that I've been to. I lost my sweat glands in the war. I'm too honorable. Again, I have an Epstein playlist. If you're not familiar with it, he's on it. All those videos, almost all of them, been demonetized by Google. Edward Snowden showed that the NSA has been working with Google since 2010.
his arm around Giuffre's waist. She told the BBC the picture was genuine and she'd given it to the FBI. Back to NATO, Donald Trump was asked about the prince.
I don't know Prince Andrew, but it's a tough story. It's a very tough story. I don't know him, no.
But after those comments, photos of Trump were being circulated online, including some showing Trump and his then-girlfriend Melania with the prince and Epstein at the same Mar-a-Lago event almost 20 years ago. And these photos from the Duke of York's Twitter page show Trump and the prince together in June of this year.
And another royal encounter, this time with a different member of that family, Prince Charles, meeting with Trudeau Tuesday.
So I know this might seem a little convoluted, but you got to stay with me on this. This is deliberate. The impeachment is a distraction. What did we learn during the impeachment? Democrats reauthorized the Patriot Act during this impeachment trial. Right? We're not talking about Epstein. We're not talking about climate collapse. We're not talking about all the war. We're not talking about Yemen. We're not talking about the $1.5 trillion tax bailout, the tax break that Trump gave the richest people, the single greatest transference of wealth. We're not talking about that. He just lied. I don't know Epstein. And then QAnon people in the comment section, well, Graham, how do you really know somebody? You're trying to tell me if you were flown to Buckingham Palace to meet the Duke of York, you wouldn't say, I don't know him? Give me a break. If you ask me, Graham, do you know Steve O? I'd say, yeah, I know Steve. I did Aggressive Progressives a couple times. I've met him at some live Jimmy Dore shows. Am I like super close? Do I have his cell phone? Do we know personal details? But I know him. I can't tell you because someone in the comment section when I did this video was like, Graham, you meet people after shows all the time. This is not meeting somebody after a show. That I get. If there was just one photo of him with his arm around Epstein at some party 30 years ago, I'd be like, well, that's not enough. We know people that were like invited to Epstein's home. He'd have these big things with scientists or whatever. One scientist goes to his house once for some big event. Is that guy a pedophile? That's hard to say. You flew on his plane? Prince Andrew? They're all friends. Like, yes, if I took a picture with someone after a show and that person is a serial killer or a pedophile, something awful, and you said, oh, Graham's buddies with this person, I'd say, I don't know that person. I put my arm around him once. That's what Prince Andrew and Trump are trying to say. Prince Andrew was trying to say that about Virginia Roberts. I don't know. Trump is trying to say that about Prince Andrew. I mean, you meet a lot of people in my line of work. Oh, really? Oh, really? You don't remember going to Buckingham Palace and talking to Prince Andrew? There's photos of you knowing him for 20 years? Don't listen. This is ruling class lies. Just like the Clintons lie. It's like the diehard Clinton people and the diehard Trump people refuse to see how awful their beloved, exalted leaders are. They're all awful. What is this distraction really about? I got to listen to this here. What is this distraction really about? Okay? And I said this, okay? I said this was going to happen when Epstein was killed. I said they're going to try to hang it on some low-level person. So the two guards that were on duty when Epstein was murdered have been indicted. Okay. They dropped the ball. They should have been there. I've asked this question. Were they given money? What happened? What happened? But let's look at how they're trying to frame this. The Prince Andrew thing was trying to put this to bed. Prince Andrew interview was trying to distance himself from Buckingham Palace. Distance Buckingham Palace from this whole Epstein thing. So it was oh no, the palace knew nothing about it. It was just me, Prince Andrew. And then Prince Andrew trying to distance himself from Epstein. It was Ghislaine Maxwell's friend. I was a +1. I flew to his apartment after I knew he was a pedophile and just stayed there for 4 days and women came and go. But I was there because I'm too honorable and I couldn't find a place to crash. Not a lot of hotels in New York City. people of royal families don't typically have a lot of money to spend on travel. I get it. But now here's the lawyer for one of the security guards. Now look, if the security guards were in on this, they absolutely need to be prosecuted. But if they're the only people that are prosecuted, then we know it's more of a cover-up.
So what did you think of what the prosecutor had to say today as far as the amount of evidence that they have and the amount of video that they have? And what are you looking to do from here on forward?
We are looking forward to receiving that evidence. We're looking forward to...
This is the lawyer for one of the security guards that was on duty when Epstein died, who's defending them. Everybody deserves a trial, right? A defense and a lawyer to have their day in court. The question was, what do you think about all the evidence? He's like, we want to see the evidence. So already, how are they going to... His clients were watching, they were online, they were like buying stuff apparently, but where's the video camera footage? Where is all this stuff? That Senate hearing that I showed, they were asking a lot of questions that one, the Senator Sassy, I believe, from Nebraska, I believe, but there's still other questions like, there was a bigger issue here. And the Bureau of Prisons, that's William Barr. That's under William Barr's jurisdiction.
Seeing the videos, we're looking forward to finding out if the videos records and says everything that they've said that it says. We have an idea that it may not. So we want to see the videos. We want to see all the information that they're going to provide to us, as well as we're going to actively investigate our own case and follow our own leads. I think it's important to note that the information that we've received from the hearings on Capitol Hill, as well as from the Attorney General, Mr. Barr himself, they both demonstrated that the system of the Federal Bureau of Prisons was in chaos, that there were many things that did not happen in this case.
From Barr, from the Bureau of Prisons, which is a federal entity under the jurisdiction of Trump. Epstein died on Trump's watch. Come on. Don't give me this Trump's arresting everybody. The Clintons and the Trumps are all evil. He's like, I want to see the evidence. Tell me what you have. Look, again, if there's clients, if they dropped the ball and okay. But there's more to this. We all know. Those two security guards aren't in Epstein's black book. Billionaires, world leaders, Republicans, Democrats. That's who's the royal families, Saudi royal families in there too. Where's all this evidence? Back in August, Trump said, William Barr's on the case. Really? William Barr?
And unfortunately, the decisions that led to the death of Mr. Epstein were not only because of what my client did or did not do. It was because of a system that failed completely. And that's something that we think that is not being analyzed and is not being taken into consideration. There are many things that should have happened that didn't happen, yet there are only two people here now who are facing criminal charges.
Did you hear that? A lot of things did and did not happen, yet there's only two people here facing criminal charges. Excellent point, counselor. The only two people that are being charged are the guards, the prison guards. So Prince Andrew, no charges. Ghislaine Maxwell, no charges. Bill Clinton, no charges. Trump, nothing. No one. No charges? Bill Richardson, Alan Dershowitz, no charges. Virginia Roberts didn't say it in an interview, didn't say it on Twitter, in a sworn deposition. So if you perjure yourself there, you're going to jail. You know, like when Bill Clinton perjured himself about having sex with Monica Lewinsky, just to give everyone a little legal framing. The only two people that have been charged in this whole thing are prison guards? You see what I'm talking about? Bernie's bad, Russia, impeachment, and Trump probably loves the impeachment talk too, because he can, they're trying to frame, and it's we're fighting about is this little thing was said and that little thing and the testimony of this and we're wasting all this time on this ridiculous, it's like sports. were watching all the pregame and the postgame, and the ref made it, and should they have gone for it on 4th down, and this guy kicked, and was that a dirty play, and how come there should have been flown a flag? We're not talking about how corrupt the NFL is. See, 2 people have been charged. When this all came out and the black book and all this, is that what we thought, that the first people to be charged would be prison guards?
Matter of fact, any and every other person that made decisions that contributed to the death of Mr. Epstein, they're not here. They're not facing charges. Who do you mean? Well, we mean we're the supervisors. We're the people who made the policy decisions. Why didn't Mr. Epstein have a salary at the time that this happened? These are all things that are very important, but we don't have answers. All we have is a rush to judgment, a rush to charge the smallest of people who are getting paid the least, and make those people pay for the problems and the things that didn't happen throughout an entire system. That is patently unfair, and we're going to fight it from beginning to end.
Mr. Figgins, I have a question about
What do you expect about being framed?
Well, I believe that report is going to have lengthy interviews and information about how the system was not working properly. I believe that they should have interviewed a lot of these policymakers and supervisors and commissioners, and we need to know what was said, what was in those interviews. We need to know with respect to what about system-wide? What is going on within the whole system that allowed this to happen here? Does anyone think that throughout the United States that these are the only 2 guards that may have taken a nap overnight on their shift? I highly doubt it. Yet, these are the only 2 guards in the whole system who are being charged with a crime and being asked to go to jail.
I have a question about something that the prosecutor said about bank records being part of their discovery. Do you know what that's about?
We do not know. I don't know at this time what that would be about at all. I'm as interested as anyone to find out what that would be.
So bank records is important because if the guards were in on the crime, they were paid money. So if you see, and this is a standard investigative thing, they're like if each one of these, let's say, because it would be, I talked about this when I interviewed former detective Eric Oldenburg, former child crimes investigator. Obviously, that's what you would do as okay. So you're a prison guard making 70 grand a year, and suddenly you have a $50,000 deposit. I mean, it would be easy to flip a guard to go, hey, here's 50 grand to look the other way, or take a nap, or turn the cameras off, or whatever. So that's a valid thing to investigate. But again, let's say these 2 guards, and we don't know yet, but let's just say hypothetically these 2 guards did each have large sums of money that was donated in their account. Who donated the money? Go higher. I told you in the summer, I said, first Epstein, I go, if he's denied bail, they're going to kill him. He was denied bail, they killed him the minute this document were unsealed. And I said, they're going to try to cover this. First, what had happened? The media just said, oh, it was a suicide. Nope, coroner said suicide. They just said suicide. And then I said, they're going to try to hang this on some mid-level, a bumbling guard. I said it in August. Go back and watch it. But what's happening is hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself is not going away. So we got to keep asking questions because this guy's right. The supervisors, all these other people, let's look at the bank accounts. And if somebody did give them $50,000 to look the other way, who gave them the money? Follow that money. Don't just stop at the guards' accounts.
The things that you mentioned about Epstein not having somebody in his cell, is that a concern that your clients raised, that he should have had it? Were they even told that he should have had somebody in his cell with him that night?
Well, in particular, I don't know the particulars of that, but normally every inmate should have a cellmate, specifically for the reason that happened in this case. It's also a precaution for safety as well to have more than one inmate in the cell at the time.
What were those plea negotiations like with federal prosecutors, and what were they offering, and what were they?
Okay, so we know what that's all about. But who's William Barr, the guy Trump said back in August? He said, let's investigate Bill Clinton. Yeah, we should investigate Bill Clinton, but that's Trump getting the attention off of him, getting his attention off the fact that he's friends with Prince Andrew, that he called Epstein a terrific guy. Who's William Barr? 1973, Barr's father, Donald, the headmaster of a Manhattan Dalton school, hired Epstein as a calculus and physics teacher. Oh, I'm sure Epstein was really, had a lot of degrees to get that job. Epstein had not earned a college degree and had dropped out of New York's prestigious Copper Union. The other odd circumstance was that the new teacher was only 20 years old. William Barr's dad wrote this creepy book, some science fiction that had a lot of having sex with teenagers and children. It was really weird and creepy. So there's allegations that Barr, the dad, was perhaps a pedophile. Why would he hire Jeffrey Epstein? You have no college degree and you're going to teach calculus and physics? You were a 20-year-old? He's a lot of fun to be with, Trump said in 2003. It's even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life. You don't know who he is. You already lied about meeting Prince Andrew in June. William Barr shouldn't be investigating this case. He should recuse himself. He recused himself for part of it. I'm recused that from the matter of one of the law firms that represented Epstein long ago was a firm that I subsequently joined for a period of time. This was in July of 2019. When Acosta had to step down. But wait a minute now. Court records show Kirkland and Ellis continued to represent Epstein through 2011 while Barr worked at the firm. They represented Epstein in his 2008-2009 case in Florida. You know, the one that Acosta gave him that sweetheart deal when Acosta was told he's an intelligence asset, let it go. And then Trump hired Acosta, put Acosta in his cabinet, and only when it got public did he, we got to get rid of Acosta. And then who did he replace Acosta with? Barr, who was at the same law firm for 2 years while they were representing Epstein, a convicted pedophile at that point? Epstein death, a perfect storm of screw-ups to blame, AG Barr says. November 20. Screw-ups. It was screw-ups? I knew it. I said it. They're going to make some wink, zoinks. Some bumbling guard accidentally ordered rope and a beam that could hold a 180-pound person and had it accidentally delivered. The Amazon drone accidentally dropped it off into Epstein's room. It happens all the time. Zoinks. Whap, whap. Oh, the camera accidentally broke. Hey, who are the two guards that sleep the most on duty? Can we make sure they're on duty Friday night, August 9th? Who put them, That's one way to do it. Maybe the guards weren't in and out. It's like, hey, you go to the supervisor. Who are your worst guards? These two, man. They sit around and they just go on the internet and sleep and they play cards. And they're can we just move them to Friday night? I got a thing. So don't buy Trump's distractions. If the Clintons are lying, the Trumps are lying. Okay, flight records that came out when the unsealed documents came out. I've showed this before. Okay, this is Donald Trump. I know it's very blurry, but that's J.E. Jeffrey Epstein, GM Ghislaine Maxwell. This is in 97, right? And then this billionaire couple that has ties to Epstein. But let's not forget this. Above and beyond anything else, they're all friends. There's even more recent photos of these guys golfing together, being buddies together. Trump and the Clintons are using Russiagate and the impeachment and this battle of the ruling class. I've been wondering. It might just be she was next in line and she's mad, which is absolutely the case, right? But it might be they all have been in on pedophile sex trafficking. And so they're like, let's pick a crazy fight with each other so no one's talking about how we're a part of this multi-billion-dollar global sex trafficking industry that involves the royal family. James Seville, I keep hearing, in the royal family's been covering it up. The Saudis. the Clinton Foundation snatching up kids, his modeling agency, Les Wexner. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. So stay distracted, America. Bombshell. There's a new bombshell. Stop watching me right now. There's a bombshell on CNN or Fox or MSNBC. There's a bombshell. It won't involve that these people have been fucking and trafficking and profiting from pedophiles and selling children for a long time. It won't involve that at all. Thanks for watching the show. Like, share, and subscribe. See us on the road. GrahamElwood.com for all my tour dates. We're going to Hollywood December 14th, Ventura December 13th, and a bunch of dates are 2020.